Every great revolution starts with something almost invisible. The first whisper before a war cry. The first step before the sprint. The first decision before destiny. Most people underestimate the smallest beginnings because they're blinded by the hunger for instant success. They think transformation must be loud, dramatic, and monumental. But the truth is, every massive breakthrough you admire began quietly. In the dark, in the shadows, in the places no one was watching. The seed doesn't explode into a tree overnight. It breaks silently beneath the soil, unseen and uncelebrated. The same is true for your growth. You've been conditioned to believe that if change doesn't happen fast, it's not happening at all. But slow progress is not failure. It's the rhythm of real transformation. Every small decision you make, every quiet effort you repeat daily, is carving something powerful into your future. The gym session when no one watches. The single page you write before dawn. The moment you choose water over soda. These are not small acts. They are signatures of discipline, written into the story of who you are becoming. Success doesn't require a revolution. It requires evolution. You don't wake up one day and become unstoppable. You build it, grain by grain. Each habit, each choice, each small victory compounds. You can't see it yet, but the compound effect is real. It's the invisible mathematics of greatness. Every small step is interest on your effort. You may not notice the growth daily, but one morning you'll look back and realize you've transformed beyond recognition. The world wants results, not process. But the process is where the fire is forged. A single degree of temperature turns water into steam, and that steam powers massive engines. 1 degree. That's the gap between ordinary and unstoppable. If you keep turning up the heat, even by a single degree each day, your life will start to move with unstoppable force. The secret isn't to take giant leaps, it's to never stop stepping. Imagine 2 paths. One is loud, full of people chasing shortcuts, burning out fast. The other is quiet, patient, deliberate. That's the path of mastery. The path where you show up daily. No applause, no validation, just you versus you. The second path doesn't promise quick results, but it guarantees permanent change. Because it's not the size of your steps that matter, it's the consistency of your direction. Every empire, every legend, every success story you've heard began with a decision so small it almost didn't matter. The author who wrote 1 paragraph a day, the athlete who ran just 10 minutes when motivation was gone, the entrepreneur who made 1 cold call after being rejected 100 times. Each small step built momentum, and momentum became mastery. You don't need to conquer the mountain today, you just need to take 1 deliberate step upward. You think big dreams require big actions, but big dreams demand small disciplines done relentlessly. The tiny daily act is the DNA of greatness, the gym repetition when tired, the honest word when tempted to lie, the deep breath before reacting in anger. Those moments are micro miracles, invisible now but revolutionary in the long run. Your future self is sculpted by the thousands of quiet moments you think don't matter. People talk about motivation, but motivation is fleeting. What you need is momentum, and momentum begins with 1 push. Don't wait for the perfect day, perfect mindset, or perfect opportunity. Start messy, start slow, start scared. The act of beginning, however small, creates energy. That's physics. Action produces motion, and motion builds momentum. Keep moving, and one day, momentum will carry you when motivation fails. Every small step you take rewires your identity. Each repetition tells your brain, this is who I am now. That's how transformation begins. Not with declarations, but with demonstrations. You prove to yourself over and over that you can be trusted to show up. Each action, no matter how minor, becomes a vote for the person you wish to become. And when those votes accumulate, identity shifts. You stop trying to become the person, you are that person. When you look at the most successful people in history, They rarely describe one massive breakthrough moment. They talk about routines, rituals, habits. They talk about how small disciplines created big waves. Success at its core is boring consistency done long enough to look miraculous. The audience only sees the explosion. They never see the quiet ignition. But it's the spark, that small, silent, disciplined spark, that changes everything. There is something sacred about small beginnings. They teach humility. They demand faith, because no one claps when you take your first step. No one notices the small wins. But that's the point. The foundation must be built in silence. When no one's watching, your character is tested. When no one believes, your self-trust is forged. That's where your real power grows, in the unseen hours. The universe doesn't reward speed, it rewards alignment. When your small steps align with your purpose, time begins to bend in your favor. You attract opportunities, ideas, and people that match your vibration. But alignment requires patience. You can't rush divine timing. You must earn it through consistent, deliberate action. Your small steps are signals to the universe, I'm ready for more. And when you prove that, more comes. The irony is, people quit right before momentum compounds. They give up at 40%, not realizing they were only a few consistent days away from breakthrough. The mind wants quick dopamine, but transformation demands endurance. When it feels like nothing is changing, that's when everything is about to shift. The soil looks dead before the sprout appears. That's why most never see the harvest. They stop watering right before it blooms. You cannot escape the laws of progress. Every day you either rise or decay. Every small step either builds you or breaks you. The choice is yours, to move slightly forward or slip slightly backward. But never believe that standing still keeps you safe. Stagnation is decay in disguise. The smallest step in the right direction is infinitely more powerful than staying still in fear. Your greatest advantage in this life isn't luck, talent, or timing. It's persistence in the small things. The ability to repeat simple disciplines long after excitement fades. The quiet power to show up again and again, no matter how insignificant it feels. That's how giants are born. Small steps taken daily with purpose, with faith, build an unstoppable force no one can deny. And if you're doubting right now, wondering if your small actions even matter, remember this: every step you take plants a seed in time. And those seeds, though invisible today, will one day rise as forests of success, strength, and purpose. Never underestimate the quiet miracle of staying consistent. Change doesn't announce itself with fireworks. It creeps in quietly, often disguised as struggle, discipline, or repetition. The day you wake up early despite exhaustion, the day you keep going after failure, the day you refuse to break the promise you made to yourself, that's the day everything shifts. It might not look like victory, but it is, because small wins today are invisible investments in a future you can't yet see. And when those invisible investments mature, they explode into greatness. The hardest part of growth isn't the effort, it's the patience. Waiting for results when your mind screams for proof. You plant a seed and dig it up every day to see if it's growing. That's why most people never evolve. They don't understand that real change grows underground first. The roots come before the bloom. You cannot see your progress yet, but you must trust it's happening. Faith is not hoping everything works out, it's working like it will. Every small step tests your belief in yourself. Because no one else sees it. The world doesn't applaud when you practice discipline. They don't celebrate your quiet progress. But that's what makes it sacred. It's not for them, it's for you. Each time you show up, you are voting for your future. You are choosing destiny over doubt, purpose over comfort. Greatness is not built in a day, but it is built daily. You are not behind, you are in the process. Stop comparing your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20. Every master was once a beginner stumbling through the same small steps you're taking now. The difference is they didn't quit when it felt small. They didn't demand instant results. They trusted the process long enough for the process to trust them back. The road to greatness is paved with the bricks of patience. You can't leap across a canyon in one bound, but you can build a bridge, plank by plank, day by day. That bridge is discipline. Every time you keep your promise, you lay another plank. Some days the bridge looks incomplete, fragile even, but one day you'll look back and realize you've crossed to the other side. That's how small steps work. They connect your today with your tomorrow. Most people want to transform without discomfort. They want success without sweat. But small steps demand endurance, not excitement. They're boring, repetitive, and often painful. But pain is not punishment, it's proof of progress. It's the universe sculpting you into someone capable of carrying bigger blessings. The pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret lasts forever. Choose your pain wisely. Every morning you wake up, you face a choice. Continue your old story or write a new one. The new one begins with one small action, just one. You don't need to have the entire plan figured out, you just need to move an inch forward. Because once you move, the universe moves with you. The momentum you seek doesn't appear before action. It appears because of it. You think you're waiting for motivation, but motivation is waiting for you. It's not a spark that falls from the sky. It's friction you create through movement. Action first. Emotion later. Once you start, the mind catches up. But most people sit still, waiting for a feeling that never comes. Start moving, even if your hands shake. Progress begins with one uncomfortable motion. There's beauty in the small steps because they teach you control. Every day you learn how to command yourself, how to act when you don't feel like it, how to push when you want to pause. Each small decision is resistance training for your spirit. You're strengthening your willpower. And one day your self-discipline becomes unbreakable. Not because you were born strong, but because you trained yourself through thousands of small acts. Your dreams are not distant, they're disguised. Hidden behind the daily actions you avoid. The email you postpone, the workout you skip, the skill you refuse to learn. Every time you delay, the dream waits. But every time you take that small step, you peel away another layer of fear. You move closer, even if you don't see it yet. Dreams don't vanish. They hide behind inaction. Don't let the simplicity of a small step fool you. The simplest things in life are the most powerful. Breathing, sleeping, moving. Survival depends on them. So does success. Simplicity doesn't mean weakness, it means clarity. It means you're focused on what matters. Don't chase complicated strategies when simple consistency will build your empire. The mind loves to exaggerate. It tells you that your goal is too big, the journey too long. But your job isn't to climb the entire staircase today. It's to take one step without stopping. Each step reveals the next. Fear wants you to stare at the top so you feel overwhelmed. Discipline teaches you to look at your feet and move forward. That's how you win, by refusing to freeze. Every small step carries a story, a whisper of defiance, a declaration that you're not giving up. Each time you take action, you're rewriting your destiny. You're proving to yourself that your past no longer controls you. The old version of you dies in the silence of persistence. And every time you keep going, a new version is born, stronger, sharper, wiser. You don't need to take massive risks to change your life. You need to master micro courage, the kind that wakes you up 10 minutes early, that helps you say no to distraction, that keeps you studying when others quit. Micro courage builds macro success, because courage doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it's the quiet decision to keep showing up when no one notices. Remember, the smallest spark can ignite a forest fire. One small step, one small decision, one small change. That's all it takes to start a chain reaction. You might not see the flames yet, but they're spreading beneath the surface. Keep going because the fire you're building today will one day light up the world. There's a moment in every journey when doubt whispers louder than progress. when you question if your effort matters, when your mind tells you it's pointless. But that's the test, the silent war between your present self and your potential self. The small steps you take in that darkness are the ones that define you. Because true progress isn't measured in excitement, it's measured in endurance. Every quiet day you stay consistent, you're becoming unstoppable. The world doesn't reward those who start strong, it rewards those who continue. Anyone can begin. Few can persist. Starting takes courage, but continuing takes faith. Every time you show up, you reinforce your identity as someone who finishes what they begin. And when you carry that identity, success becomes inevitable. The results may take time, but the transformation begins the moment you refuse to stop. Look at the ocean. It shapes the rocks not through force, but through persistence. Wave after wave, soft yet relentless, it transforms stone into sculpture. That's the power of small, consistent impact. The ocean doesn't rush, yet it conquers everything. You don't need to be intense for a moment, you need to be consistent for a lifetime. Your persistence is erosion in motion, quietly sculpting greatness out of resistance. Every small step you take weakens the grip of fear. Fear thrives on inactivity. The longer you hesitate, the stronger it becomes. But the moment you move, fear loses its voice. You can't outthink fear, you must outact it. Each small action you take is a rebellion against the limits your mind tries to impose. Fear dissolves in the face of movement. So keep moving even if you tremble. Movement is your weapon. People often misunderstand transformation. They think it's about speed, but it's about direction. A small step in the right direction is far more powerful than a sprint toward distraction. 1 degree of difference may seem insignificant now, but over time, it changes your entire trajectory. Keep adjusting your direction with small, intentional moves, and soon you'll find yourself in a reality that once felt impossible. Small steps create momentum, and momentum creates identity. When you start acting like the person you wish to become, even before results appear, your brain rewires itself to match that image. You no longer try to be disciplined, you are disciplined. You no longer hope to be confident, you embody confidence. That identity shift is born through repetition, not revelation. Repetition is the language of transformation. There's a hidden beauty in taking small steps. You learn to love the process. The outcome stops being your obsession, and the act itself becomes rewarding. You start to realize that mastery isn't a destination, it's devotion. The small repetitive actions you once hated become sacred rituals. What was once effort becomes expression. That's when you know you've evolved, when what used to feel like work becomes who you are. Progress doesn't always roar, sometimes it whispers. It shows up in small ways. In how you react differently to stress, how you speak kinder to yourself, how you choose peace over drama. Those are signs of evolution. Don't dismiss them because they're quiet. The loudest changes often come from the quietest growth. Transformation is not about shouting your success. It's about embodying it silently. The truth is, most people overestimate what they can do in a week and underestimate what they can do in a year. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't a leap. It's a line of tiny, consistent choices. Each one matters, each one counts. A small step repeated 365 times becomes a revolution. But only for the one patient enough to stay consistent through the boredom. When you take small steps every day, you build self-respect. You begin to trust yourself. That trust is the foundation of power. Most people don't fail because of lack of talent. They fail because they stop trusting their own ability to follow through. When you honor your word to yourself, you rebuild that trust. You become your own source of strength, and from that, unstoppable confidence grows. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. But no one tells you the truth about that first step. It's not easy, it's not glamorous. It's heavy, awkward, and full of fear. But that's why it's sacred. That first step separates dreamers from doers. It's a contract between your desire and your discipline. And once you take it, something powerful happens. the world begins to rearrange itself around your decision. Every great transformation carries a hidden timeline. You can't skip phases. You must crawl before you walk, walk before you run, and run before you soar. Each stage teaches something vital. Impatience steals wisdom. Let the process mold you. The slow burn is what builds the strength to sustain success. Because quick success is fragile, but earned success is eternal. Small steps teach humility, the understanding that greatness doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need validation. It grows quietly like roots spreading underground. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Just keep nurturing your growth. One day those roots will break through the surface and the world will call it overnight success. But you'll know it was years in the making. Every single day offers you a doorway, a chance to be 1% better, to learn one more thing, to say one kinder word, to take one deeper breath. Progress doesn't demand perfection, it demands participation. The smallest act done daily beats the biggest plan never started. Because potential without execution is just imagination, and imagination without action is wasted genius. The most dangerous lie you can believe is that small actions don't matter. That's how mediocrity survives. By convincing you your efforts are insignificant. But remember, mountains are made of dust. Oceans are made of drops. Empires are built on single decisions. Never underestimate the power of the tiny. The smallest step, repeated enough times, can shake the entire world. At some point, the steps that once felt small will start to feel natural. What used to require effort will become instinct. That's how mastery feels. It sneaks up on you. You don't wake up one morning and declare yourself changed. You simply realize the habits that once felt impossible are now effortless. That's the quiet victory of persistence. The moment when progress becomes part of your nature. Growth doesn't shout, "Look at me," it whispers, "Keep going." Because real change isn't a performance, it's evolution. It's what happens when no one's watching, when you resist the old patterns, when you choose the future over the familiar. Every small act of resistance is a vote for freedom. Freedom from your excuses, from your past, from the version of you that always quits. Small steps are sacred because they demand faith before evidence. You act before results appear. You trust before the proof exists. That's what separates achievers from dreamers. Action without applause, motion without validation. You don't need to see the entire road. You only need enough light to take the next step. And with each step, the path reveals more of itself. When you understand the power of small steps, you stop waiting for the right moment, because every moment is right when you move with purpose. You realize life is not a lottery of luck, but a game of momentum. Every small act you take is a vote for the life you desire. You are casting your future with your daily habits. The question is, what are you voting for? Change rarely announces itself with clarity. It sneaks in quietly, in the moments you almost gave up but didn't. In the decisions no one saw. In the sacrifices that looked insignificant but meant everything. That's where transformation lives. Not in lightning strikes, but in sparks that refuse to die. If you keep those sparks alive long enough, they become wildfires. People chase motivation like it's fuel, but motivation burns fast. What you need is momentum, and momentum is built through motion. One action creates the next. Each step builds the habit of moving forward. Momentum doesn't care how slow you start, it only demands that you don't stop. Once you understand this, you'll realize consistency is more powerful than intensity. Every small step holds a lesson, and those lessons accumulate into wisdom. You start to see the patterns, the principles, the truths hidden in your journey. You learn that patience isn't passive, it's power under control. You learn that failure isn't final, it's feedback. You learn that effort isn't wasted, it's invested. Every lesson adds depth to your character and strength to your purpose. One day, someone will look at you and say, "You're lucky." They'll think your success appeared overnight. They'll never see the years you spent walking in silence, taking one small step after another when no one cared. But you'll know the truth. You'll know it wasn't luck, it was loyalty. Loyalty to your vision, your habits, your mission. That loyalty created your destiny. The smallest steps often have the biggest echoes. When you decide to change, you inspire others to believe they can too. You become living proof that transformation is possible. Your example becomes their permission. And just like that, your personal growth ripples into the world, creating change far beyond yourself. That's how small steps create big revolutions. Never underestimate the compounding power of time. A single drop of water falling in the same place for years can carve through stone. The same principle applies to your life. A single action, repeated long enough, can carve new realities into existence. That's not motivation, that's physics. Energy applied consistently transforms everything it touches. When you take small steps, you're not just changing your life, you're training your spirit. You're teaching yourself patience, resilience, and gratitude. You're learning to endure without evidence, to persist without praise. And in that process, you discover the truth. You were never weak, only waiting to be consistent. Strength isn't found, it's formed through repetition. One day, all those small steps will connect. You'll look back and realize that the dots of your effort formed a masterpiece. The sleepless nights, the lonely mornings, the countless rejections, they all make sense in hindsight. You'll see that the journey wasn't random, it was designed. Every small step was a stroke on the canvas of your destiny. The world loves quick success, but quick success fades fast. The kind of success that lasts is built through small steps, because it's rooted in growth, not luck. It's the kind of success no one can take away, because it wasn't given to you. You built it with your hands, your discipline, your faith. You didn't stumble upon greatness, you walked into it, one small step at a time. And now, remember this, there will never be a perfect moment to start. There will never be a day when everything feels ready. But if you start small today, the future will bend in your favor. Your destiny is not waiting for a miracle, it's waiting for movement. The smallest step taken with faith is more powerful than the grandest intention never acted upon. So take the step. The world may not notice it today, but your future self is watching. Every small act you take echoes across time, rewriting your story, reshaping your destiny. Keep walking, keep believing. Because one day those small steps will lead you exactly where you were always meant to be, standing tall in the life you once dreamed of, realizing it wasn't magic that got you there, it was momentum.